At this stage of your life, you might have thought you'd have a stable career, a loving family, and a clear future. But instead, you feel empty. You set ambitious goals to rediscover meaning, yet you're unsure where to start. Does that sound familiar? Setting goals is easy, but abandoning them, even easier. The truth is that most of us fall into the same traps when we define our goals, chasing trends, overloading ourselves, or ignoring the deeper why behind our pursuits. But here's the good news. Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom to help you break free from this cycle. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By mastering your thoughts and actions, you can overcome the common mistakes that sabotage your goals and start living with clarity, focus, and peace of mind. In today's video, we'll uncover the 6 most common goal-setting mistakes that destroy progress and learn how to set meaningful, achievable goals with the guidance of Stoic principles. I promise you, this isn't just theory. By the end, you'll have practical steps to apply these lessons and transform your mindset starting today. If this resonates, share this message with your loved ones or friends if you think they might need it. A small action from you could help them grow and transform. And share your own stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're applying Stoicism to your life. Let's grow together. 1. Chasing trends instead of personal values. Let's start with the first mistake. Chasing trends instead of staying true to your values. It's easy to get swept away by trends in today's fast-paced world. Social media feeds us images of what success should look like. A new diet challenge, a productivity hack, or a lifestyle trend promising overnight transformation. These become tempting benchmarks, but the problem is that they rarely align with who we are at our core. Take, for example, the popular Dry January movement. Imagine someone who commits to abstaining from alcohol, not because they believe in its value, but because everyone around them is doing it. Their why is weak, driven by fear of missing out rather than genuine conviction. What happens next? By the 3rd day, their motivation fizzles, and they abandon the goal entirely. This story mirrors a greater truth. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Chasing trends distracts us from this pursuit. It convinces us to mold ourselves into someone else's ideal, rather than defining our path. When we set goals based on external pressures, we unknowingly surrender our power. Our energy becomes scattered and our progress falters. It's like trying to steer a ship while chasing the wind. You move, but never in the right direction. Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in our values. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do, said Epictetus. Before chasing a goal, reflect. Does this align with my principles? Does it contribute to the life I want to lead? The cost of chasing trends isn't just wasted time, it's disconnection from your true self. Consider this. Every goal demands effort. But if your heart isn't in it, that effort feels like a burden. You start resenting the process, questioning why you even began. For instance, think of someone who takes on a trendy fitness challenge to impress others. They endure exhausting workouts but feel no joy. Meanwhile, their actual health goal, like improving sleep or reducing stress, remains unmet. Seneca warned against this kind of misalignment. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. By pursuing goals that don't serve us, we squander precious energy that could have been spent building something meaningful. Let me share a story. A friend of mine once felt pressured to learn a foreign language because everyone in her circle seemed to be doing it. She downloaded the apps, joined groups, and shared her progress online. But deep down, she had no real desire to learn the language. Her passion lay in gardening, a skill she'd neglected because it wasn't popular. After weeks of frustration, she decided to quit the language challenge and focus on what truly made her happy. She invested her time into cultivating a garden that became her sanctuary. The transformation was incredible. Not only did she find peace, but she also gained clarity in other areas of her life. Her story echoes Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. She stopped chasing the external validation of trends and reclaimed her focus. Breaking free from the cycle of chasing trends starts with introspection. Ask yourself, what values truly matter to me? Am I setting this goal because it aligns with my purpose, or because it's what others expect? If I were alone, would I still pursue this? Write these questions down. Reflect on them before committing to any new goal. Next, define your why. Stoic philosophy reminds us that purpose fuels perseverance. Without it, even the smallest obstacle can derail us. But with a clear purpose, challenges become stepping stones. Spend 5 to 10 minutes journaling daily about what you value most. Let this clarity guide your actions. Simplify your life by limiting your goals to what truly aligns with your principles. Let go of anything that doesn't. Use Stoic wisdom as your compass. As Epictetus advised, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and purpose. In a world that celebrates trends, staying true to your values is a radical act. But it's also the path to fulfillment. Chasing trends may seem exciting, but it leads you further from yourself. Instead, as the Stoics teach, define your purpose. Stay grounded. Build a life that reflects your deepest values, not someone else's. By doing so, you'll not only achieve your goals, but also find the peace and clarity you've been searching for all along. 2. Setting too many goals at once. The second mistake that often leads to failure is setting too many goals at once. It's an easy trap to fall into. You feel inspired, motivated, and determined to transform your life, so you create an ambitious list. Improve your career, build stronger relationships, get fit, learn a new skill, and even master mindfulness, all at the same time. But what happens next? Overwhelm sets in. You stretch yourself too thin, jumping from one task to another without focus. Progress becomes scattered, and before long, frustration replaces enthusiasm. This is what the Stoics warned against, a life burdened by too much ambition and too little clarity. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless in extraneous matters." This is a call to simplicity. When we focus on everything, we achieve nothing. True growth comes from directing your energy toward what matters most, not trying to excel at everything all at once. Consider the example of a young professional I once worked with. She set out to change her entire life in 1 month. She wanted to excel at work, start running marathons, volunteer weekly, and take up cooking classes. While her intentions were admirable, her results were disappointing. Each goal demanded time and effort, but her energy was divided. She made little progress in any area, and her sense of failure grew. It was only when she embraced the Stoic principle of prioritization that things changed. She asked herself a powerful question: what truly matters right now? By narrowing her focus to just 3 priorities, improving her health, excelling in her career, and nurturing one meaningful relationship, she rediscovered clarity. Within months, she saw tangible progress, and the sense of accomplishment fueled her to keep going. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Only focus on 1 to 3 goals in any given time frame. This is not a limitation, but a strategy for achieving meaningful success. As Marcus Aurelius said, concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice. Concentration is key. When we set too many goals, we forget the cost of divided attention. Every goal, no matter how small, requires mental energy, time, and focus. Trying to achieve everything simultaneously spreads those resources too thin, leaving each effort half-finished. Now let's bring this principle into practice. Imagine you're starting the new year with a desire to improve your personal development, health, and productivity. Instead of creating an exhaustive list, narrow it down. Perhaps your goals could be as follows. Commit to journaling daily for self-reflection. Run 3 times a week to boost your physical health and improve focus by practicing time blocking at work. Each goal supports a larger vision, but remains manageable within a specific time frame. This approach not only prevents burnout, but also aligns with the Stoic philosophy of intentional living. Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. When we focus on too many things, we lose precious time. By focusing on fewer, more impactful goals, we live with greater purpose and direction. Here's a practical exercise to get started. Write down all the goals you want to achieve right now. Then ask yourself, which of these are most aligned with my values and long-term vision? Highlight 1 to 3 that stand out. Next, define a clear action plan for each and set a realistic time frame. For example, if your goal is to enhance mindfulness, commit to meditating for 5 minutes every morning for 30 days. As you implement this strategy, you'll notice a shift. Each completed task builds momentum, and instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll feel empowered. This is the power of simplicity. In a world that glorifies multitasking and endless ambition, choosing to focus is a radical act. But it's also the Stoic path to fulfillment. By prioritizing what truly matters, you reclaim control over your life and direct your energy toward meaningful growth. As the Stoics remind us, true strength lies not in doing everything, but in doing the right things well. 3. Setting unrealistically big goals. Another common mistake, beyond setting too many goals, is setting goals that are simply too big. While ambition is often celebrated, there's a fine line between challenging yourself and overwhelming yourself with unrealistic expectations. Goals that are too large, whether it's losing 50 pounds in a month, earning a 6-figure income within weeks, or completely transforming your life overnight, often lead to frustration, self-doubt, and ultimately failure. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible." The Stoics remind us that meaningful progress happens incrementally, not all at once. When we place an enormous burden on ourselves with grandiose objectives, we fail to recognize the power of steady, deliberate effort. Take the example of a young entrepreneur who dreamed of building a multi-million-dollar business within a year. He poured everything into his vision, working tirelessly day and night. But as the months went by, the results didn't match the size of his ambition. Exhausted and demoralized, he began to doubt himself and ultimately abandoned his goal. What went wrong wasn't his dream, it was the unrealistic scale of his timeline. The Stoics encourage us to distinguish between dreams and goals. As Seneca wisely said, the mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break. Dreams inspire us, but goals guide us. A dream is a vision, something to strive toward in the long term. A goal, on the other hand, should be specific, actionable, and achievable within a reasonable time frame. When we set goals that are too large, we also set ourselves up for discouragement. Imagine aiming to run a marathon with no prior training. The task feels insurmountable, and each failed attempt erodes your confidence. Instead, break the goal into manageable steps. Start by running 1 mile, then build to 5, and eventually the full distance. This approach not only aligns with Stoic principles, but also keeps you motivated and focused. To illustrate, let's consider the story of a woman who wanted to declutter her entire home in one weekend. Inspired by online challenges, she envisioned transforming her space into a minimalist sanctuary in just 2 days. However, as she started, the sheer scale of the task overwhelmed her. Every closet and drawer reminded her of how far she had to go. Feeling defeated, she gave up midway. Later, she approached the task with a new perspective inspired by Stoic philosophy. Instead of attempting to tackle the entire house at once, she committed to clearing 1 drawer or 1 shelf each day. Slowly but surely, her progress built momentum. Within a month, her home was transformed, not in a weekend, but in a way that was sustainable and rewarding. The lesson here is clear. Breaking down large goals into smaller, achievable steps is not only practical, but also deeply empowering. As Epictetus advised, small but consistent efforts over time yield great results. Each small success becomes a stepping stone to the next, creating a sense of accomplishment that fuels further growth. To avoid the trap of setting unrealistically big goals, start by asking yourself, is this goal realistic within my current circumstances? Can I break it into smaller milestones that are within my control? For example, instead of saying, I want to write a book this year, commit to writing 500 words a day. Rather than vowing to overhaul your entire lifestyle, focus on mastering one habit at a time. This shift not only prevents burnout, but also aligns with the Stoic approach to life. By focusing on what is achievable, you reclaim a sense of agency and control. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, Do every act of your life as though it were the last act of your life. This means putting your full effort into each small step, knowing that these steps will eventually lead to your larger vision. In a world that glorifies massive, instant success, it takes courage to embrace smaller, steady progress. Yet this is the Stoic way, the path of resilience, discipline, and clarity. By setting realistic goals and breaking them into actionable steps, you not only avoid the pitfalls of grandiosity, but also create a foundation for lasting success. 4. Focusing on the how instead of the why. One of the most subtle yet significant mistakes we make in goal setting is obsessing over how we will achieve something while losing sight of why we want it in the first place. The Stoics teach us that clarity of purpose, our why, is the foundation of meaningful action. Without it, even the best laid plans crumble under the weight of doubt and distraction. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine someone who declares, "I must save $50,000 by the end of this year." To achieve this, they decide to work overtime every single day, decline all social invitations, and sacrifice their weekends. The how dominates their thinking. Every decision revolves around the mechanics, tracking expenses, skipping vacations, and hustling relentlessly. But beneath this determination lies an unexamined truth. Why is this goal so important? Is it to create financial security? To fund a dream project? Or is it merely to keep up with the expectations of others? Without a clear and personal way, their motivation eventually falters. Exhaustion takes over and resentment builds. Even if they succeed, the sense of fulfillment they hoped for is absent. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life. If you can manage this, that's enough." The Stoics emphasize simplicity and intentionality. When we fail to connect our goals to our deeper purpose, we lose our way. The show becomes a maze and the journey feels burdensome. Now let's take a step back. Why do we fall into this trap? It's because the show feels tangible. It gives us structure and a sense of control. But the why, our deeper reason, requires introspection. It demands vulnerability and honesty. Asking yourself, "Why do I truly want this?" might reveal truths that are uncomfortable. However, these truths are essential for creating a goal that aligns with your values. I once knew a colleague who was determined to run a marathon. She meticulously planned her training schedule, bought all the necessary gear, and tracked her progress with precision. But as the weeks passed, her enthusiasm waned. The early mornings, grueling runs, and endless preparation began to feel like a chore. One day, she admitted to me, "I'm not sure why I'm even doing this. Everyone around me seems to be running marathons, so I thought I should too." Her show was flawless, but her why was hollow. When she re-examined her purpose, she realized her true desire was to improve her overall health and energy levels. With this clarity, she shifted her goal. Instead of focusing on the marathon, she committed to running 3 times a week and eating more mindfully. This simpler, more personal goal brought her joy and fulfillment, something the marathon never could. This is the power of connecting your how to your why. As Viktor Frankl, whose philosophy aligns closely with Stoicism, observed, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." When your why is clear, obstacles become challenges to overcome, not reasons to quit. How can you apply this in your own life? Start by reflecting on your current goals. Ask yourself, why does this goal matter to me? Write down your answer, dig deeper. If your answer feels superficial or driven by external pressures, pause and reassess. Once your why is clear, let it guide you on how. For example, if your goal is to save $50,000, ask yourself, is this goal rooted in fear, or is it driven by a genuine desire to build financial freedom? If it's the latter, your approach may include finding meaningful ways to reduce expenses or exploring new opportunities to earn income. Ways that align with your values and don't sacrifice your well-being. As the Stoics remind us, action without purpose is futile. Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Define your purpose first, and the path forward will reveal itself. In a world that rewards relentless productivity, slowing down to ask why may feel counterintuitive. Yet, it is the Stoic way, the path to clarity, resilience, and true fulfillment. By anchoring your goals and purpose, you not only achieve more, but also find peace and meaning along the way. 5. Being willing to do anything to achieve goals. The next mistake is one that often goes unnoticed until the damage is already done. Being willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of a goal. On the surface, this level of dedication might seem admirable. Yet as the Stoics remind us, when we lose sight of balance, we risk undermining the very virtues and values that make life worth living. Let me share the story of a friend of mine. He had been working at the same company for 5 years and was determined to earn a promotion. His ambition was clear: rise to a leadership role by the end of the year. To achieve this, he took on extra projects, stayed late at the office, and made himself available around the clock. But in his relentless pursuit, he grew distant from his family. He missed his son's soccer games, and dinner with his wife became a rarity. When the promotion finally came, he felt a fleeting sense of accomplishment. But that pride was quickly overshadowed by regret. His relationship with his wife had grown cold, and his son no longer looked to him for advice or support. He had achieved his goal, yes, but at what cost? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." The Stoics teach us that integrity and balance should never be sacrificed, even for the most ambitious goals. Success built on a foundation of broken relationships or compromised principles is hollow. Why do we fall into this trap? It's because society glorifies hustle and ambition. We're told to chase success at any cost, to push through exhaustion, and to prioritize results over relationships. However, as Epictetus warned, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The pursuit of a goal should enhance your life, not consume it. When we're willing to do anything to achieve our goals, we fail to recognize that some sacrifices cannot be undone. Please think of the professional who works tirelessly to save for retirement but neglects their health in the process. By the time they achieve financial security, their body is too frail to enjoy it. Or consider the student who prioritizes academic success above all else, only to lose touch with friendships that could have lasted a lifetime. The Stoics encourage us to pause and reflect before making decisions that could compromise our values. Ask yourself, what am I sacrificing for this goal? Is the cost worth it? These questions might be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. For example, if your goal is to achieve a major career milestone, consider how you can pursue it without neglecting your relationships or health. Instead of working late every night, set boundaries around your time. Dedicate certain hours to your family or personal well-being. By doing so, you create a balance that aligns with the Stoic principle of moderation. A story comes to mind about a teacher who dreamed of writing a book. She spent every spare moment working on her manuscript, often staying up late into the night. But her students began to notice her exhaustion, and her lessons lost their usual energy and depth. One day, she realized that her single-minded focus on the book had taken her away from what she loved most: teaching. By reevaluating her priorities, she restructured her writing schedule, dedicating weekends to her passion project while preserving the quality of her teaching during the week. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This wisdom reminds us that while ambition is important, it should never come at the expense of living fully in the moment. As you pursue your own goals, take a step back and examine the sacrifices you're making. Are they aligned with your values? Will they bring you closer to a life of balance and integrity, or further away from it? The Stoics believed that success is meaningless if it's achieved at the cost of virtue. Remember, the true measure of a goal isn't just in achieving it, but in how you achieve it. Pursue your ambitions with courage, but let wisdom guide your path. Only then can you find the peace and fulfillment that the Stoics so deeply valued. 6. Not using a high-low range. The final mistake we often make when setting goals is failing to use a high-low range. While many of us are taught to aim for precision in our objectives, specific targets with no room for adjustment, this rigidity can lead to unnecessary stress, disappointment, and even failure. What if there's a more flexible approach, one that aligns with both Stoic philosophy and modern research? This method has been supported by science and tested in real-life scenarios, including my own. To improve my work opportunities, I've been learning a new language, French. Initially, I set an ambitious target, practice for an hour every single day. But life, as it often does, got in the way. Some days, work deadlines piled up. Other days, family commitments demanded my time. Before long, my strict goal became a source of guilt rather than motivation. Then I discovered the concept of a high-low range. Instead of committing to a rigid daily hour, I adjusted my goal. Practice for 20 to 60 minutes each day. On good days, I reached the upper range, and on busier days, I was content with achieving the lower limit. This flexibility transformed my mindset. I felt accomplished rather than defeated, and I stayed consistent, which is ultimately the most important factor in progress. The Stoics, too, understood the importance of adaptability. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast. Life is unpredictable. Instead of clinging to rigid plans, we should embrace flexibility, allowing ourselves to adjust without losing sight of our goals. Why does this approach work? Research shows that setting a high-low range makes goals feel more achievable. When the bar isn't fixed at an unyielding height, we're less likely to give up entirely on difficult days. This is especially crucial for long-term goals that require sustained effort. Take the example of a friend of mine who wanted to start journaling. She initially committed to writing every single day for 30 minutes, but as the weeks passed, her energy waned. The commitment became overwhelming, and she abandoned it altogether. Later, she tried a new approach, journaling for 10 to 20 minutes, 5 days a week. This range gave her the freedom to adapt while still building a meaningful habit. The Stoic principle of moderation plays a key role here. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By focusing on what we can realistically achieve rather than chasing perfection, we reduce unnecessary stress and create space for steady, consistent growth. Here's how you can apply the high-low range to your own goals. First, identify your target. Then set a realistic minimum and a stretch goal. For example, if you aim to exercise regularly, commit to 15 to 45 minutes per session. This range ensures that even on your busiest days, you'll still meet your minimum, maintaining momentum and avoiding the all-or-nothing mindset. When using this method, it's important to remain honest with yourself. The lower limit should be a genuine effort, not an excuse to do the bare minimum. On the other hand, the upper limit should challenge you without becoming unrealistic. The balance lies in stretching yourself while respecting your limitations. The Stoics teach us that progress is not about perfection, but perseverance. Seneca observed, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." By allowing yourself flexibility, you create room to continue, even when circumstances aren't ideal. Reflecting on my own experience with learning French, I can confidently say that using a high-low range has not only improved my consistency, but also deepened my enjoyment. On days when I reach my upper target, I feel proud. On days when I only meet my minimum, I still feel accomplished. Both outcomes keep me moving forward. As you consider your own goals, ask yourself, am I setting expectations so rigid that I risk abandoning them? Or can I allow myself the grace of flexibility while maintaining accountability? The answer lies in embracing the wisdom of both science and Stoic philosophy. With a high-low range, you honor your ambitions while navigating the realities of life. This balance is where true growth happens. As we come to the end of this journey, let's reflect on the lessons we've explored together. Goal setting is not just about ambition or achievement. It's about alignment with your values, clarity of purpose, and the discipline to stay on the right path. We've uncovered 6 common mistakes that hinder progress: chasing trends instead of honoring your values, setting too many goals, aiming for unrealistically large objectives, focusing on the how over the why, sacrificing everything for success, and neglecting the power of a high-low range. Each of these challenges holds a powerful lesson rooted in Stoic wisdom. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The strength to simplify, prioritize, and adapt is within you. Every day is an opportunity to apply these teachings, to set goals that matter, and to move forward with purpose, and resilience. I encourage you to take one principle from today's video and put it into practice immediately. Whether it's defining your why or setting a flexible high-low range, start small and remain consistent. Over time, these habits will transform not just your goals, but your entire mindset. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more wisdom on living a meaningful life. And share your journey in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're applying these ideas to your own goals. Let's learn and grow together.